And a lot of people use it. There are a lot of parents and the kids and stuff.
Well, good for you.
You know where you came through the thing? Yes, over there.
Left.
It's been a decent amount the last couple times that I've been, but this is the most I've ever seen. And it's brothers keepers and stuff like that, so I don't know what they going to be doing, presenting or talking about it. Or maybe just presence.
Testing, testing. Can you hear this? Testing.
I had that app on.
See, look. 1 minute to you. outline in 30 seconds to you. Talked to Kathy before I came, and I told her, I read her some of the stuff like that I was going to say. She said, I'm like, come on. I guess if that happens, I will take Social Security.
You should just 60.
62.
There's 2 years to get it.
I don't know, I'll be 63 in December. So I definitely not going to do anything about it in December. But if I can wait 4 more, well, after December, if I can wait 3 years and 10 months, supposedly that's when I can get full whatever that would be.
You know, people debate all the time about benefits, but I waited till I got my pension. That extra money.
Well, yeah, and I know it will, and I do. It's very low, 3 figure. Very, very, very low. Retirement with Junior Thomas, where I work in Franklin. I never messed with what was in there. Because back then, this was in the mid-80s to early 90s. Back then, the school put it forward. Nothing came out of ours unless we wanted to match it.
That was nice.
And yes, it was. Well, but see, I was just a teacher's aide, so I didn't make enough for that. But when I left it sitting there. And since in the last last 30 years, it's maybe almost triple. Still, I mean, it wasn't but maybe $20,000 or 3,000. Yeah, but still, with that, you know, that would help out
I got
67. Just about.
I retired in addition to my 60 and I really didn't retire. And they wanted me to continue. So I took a lot of
Well, now I can, to get full, I did call Social Security just to say, and to get the full benefit that is available, I would be 65, 66 in 10 months. I might not be here by then.
you are a different, you are a whole new healthy man then. That makes sense. That makes sense.
The time is 7:04, and I would like to call to order the Monday, October 10th, 2022 meeting of the Southampton County Board. We have 7 of our 8 appointed members present, so we do have a quorum. Is there a board member who would like to add an item to the agenda tonight? Well, then could we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? We have a motion by Ms. Bond, a second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. The next item on the agenda is the Student of the Month. Dr. Shannon.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our October 2022 school board meeting. As our year of making learning magical continues, I've been in the buildings observing teaching and student engagement, and I'd like to say that things are looking great at all of our schools. I am so proud of our students, our teachers, and our administrators as they work hard to make this school year the best year ever. Now, it gives me great pleasure to have our building principals recognize our Students of the Month. These students have displayed excellence and kindness within our schools and our communities. I'm extremely proud of all of our students, and I'm sure that they will continue to be champions for kindness and academic excellence as they continue throughout the school year. At this time, we will call our principals forward and have them to recognize their respective students. We'll start with Capron Elementary School, who is Natasha Rose.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I stand before you to recognize the two Students of the Month for October. First, I have Amberly McLeod. So this young lady demonstrates the character trait of kindness. Every morning when I greet Amberly after call, she always says good morning. When I check in with her throughout the day, I say, hey Amberly, how are you doing? I'm doing well, how are you? And it caught me off guard for a student so young to actually check in on me to see how I was doing. So that resonated with me. That was one of the reasons why I chose Amberly for our Student of the Month. Next, I have Miss Mackenzie Gracie Story. Gracie, as we call her, is another awesome student at Capron. She demonstrates the trait of responsibility. This young lady will see items on the floor like paper and trash, and she's come to me and say, hey, Miss Rose, I saw that on the floor, I picked it up for you. And that's been on multiple occasions. So for this student to stop what she was doing to help keep our building safe and clean resonated with me, so that is one of the reasons why Mackenzie Gracie Stewart is our Student of the Month. Thank you.
Mahara Elementary School, Mrs. Susan Fowler.
Good evening, board, and good evening, families. Thank you for joining us. I have two young fellows here that I'd like to recognize. Just like many of the schools, we have implemented our PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention System, and at Inherent, our acronym is SOAR. And so the first month of school, we always focus on the S for be safe, and bus safety is important for us. And so I kind of reached out to my bus drivers and said, I'd really like your input into who can we recognize as our Student of the Month for being safe. And I have two young fellows, they're both fifth graders, that have helped us out on two different buses. And so first I want to call up Camden Jarrett. Camden is a fifth grader, and he rides Mr. Boone's bus. Mr. Boone has been out, so Miss Elaine Barnes has been filling in for us. And it is a full bus. Every seat on that bus is taken, and Camden, as Miss Elaine calls him, Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Jarrett is responsible for making sure our little ones get where they need to, making sure everybody is following the rules. And he does come let me know who isn't, and I politely remind them of the bus safety. So we appreciate Camden being a responsible, safe person on the bus. Good job, Camden. Next, I'd like to call up Clay Gaskins. He rides bus 150, Mr. Barnes, and if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Barnes sneaks him a little something every now and then. Mr. Barnes appreciates it. help on the bus. So Clay does a good job with that route as well. So that's why we chose you guys for being good, safe bus monitors.
Nottoway Elementary School, Mrs. Susan Melton.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to bring all the cuteness up here. So I nominated pre-K babies because they have transitioned into school and they have done a fantastic job. So for my first one is Reese Lovett. Reese, come on up. Reese is one of my newest Nottoway Cougars, and he had a little bit of a hard time transitioning, and now he is running into the building. And he actually has told his parents, he calls me Miss Mumblebee. Is it Miss Mumblebee? Bumblebee. And so he has actually now started to run into the school. He loves reading his books. He got his little birthday book there, and he has absolutely loved every little bit about school. Reese, can you wave? Can you say hi, everybody? And then for my second one, he is not here, but he has done a fantastic job, and it's Hendrix Lopez Lima. He is one of my ELL students, and he has done a wonderful job of making friends, and he has done a superb job of actually going through and being super kind and helpful to all of his classmates.
Next, we have Riverdale Elementary School with our dynamic duo, Miss Tammy Rayleigh and Miss Keisha Walker.
Good evening. At this time, I would like to call Chloe Jenkins. Chloe is a first grader with us at Riverdale who works very hard at being a class leader. She recently earned a positive behavior referral for exemplifying self-control, hard work, good attitude, and citizenship, all while helping others, enjoying school, and through extracurricular activities. She recently participated in the Miss Western Tidewater Wish Upon a Star pageant, where she was crowned Little Miss Western Tidewater for 2022. Congratulations.
And I would like to call Ms. Morgan West to the podium, please. Morgan is a fourth grader at Riverdale who strives to be the best in all that she does. She's a hard worker, she shows great courage and attitude in all that she does, and exemplifies excellent citizenship in school and in extracurricular activities. She also recently participated in the Miss Western Tidewater Wish Upon a Star pageant, where she was crowned Junior Miss Western Tidewater for 2022. Thank you.
Next, we have our principals from Southampton Middle School, Mr. Mark Barfield, Mr. Billy Jenkins, and Dr. Tanika White.
Good evening, everyone. Do know that all of our babies are very special to us, but tonight for sixth grade, we are taking a moment to recognize two wonderful students who every day come to school and they exhibit kindness and respect. And first, I would like to honor Miss Allie Fowler. And next, we have Mr. Salvatore Bongiorno.
everyone. For 7th grade, as the rest of the middle school, we look for respect and kindness. The 2 students I'm nominating tonight for Southampton Middle School display this on a normal basis. The first student I would like to nominate, which is one I can find every day because normally he finds me because his voice resonates throughout the whole school when he's hollering, "Good morning, Mr. Jenkins." And that is Jackson Cobb. And last but not least, this one's special. This one's a young lady that I have gotten to know really well over the past, since school has started. She's one of our cheerleaders. She displays good behavior both in the classroom, on our athletic fields, and we're proud to have her at Southampton Middle School, and that's Miss Jadea Butler.
Good evening, everyone. We will continue with the 8th grade, which is the class of 2027. We would like to recognize tonight for academic excellence as well as citizenship, Ms. Savannah Key. Ms. Savannah Key. Savannah's not here, but she's also a member of the marching band. Also for his leadership academically, as well as a running back for the JJB football, Mr. Devin Smith.
Next, we have Southampton High School, Dr. Michelle Blunt.
Good evening, Dr. Goodwin, Dr. Shannon, members of the board, and everyone assembled here. It gives me great pleasure to represent one of our all-around students, none other than Isabella Edwards. Please come forward. Isabella is a sophomore at Southampton High School. She is an honor student as well as a dual enrollment student. Of course, she is a leader. And she's become the voice of Southampton High School. She makes the daily morning announcements, and she's always well prepared to do her job and takes pride in ensuring that students and staff are well informed about Southampton High School's news and announcements. Isabella holds leadership positions at our school. She represents the future business leaders of America in several capacities. She's the regional president, and she's also the state vice president for FBLA. During her freshman year, she was voted as class reporter, and she serves as the class reporter this year. She's also a member of the Student Council Association, and she teaches dance. She's also a student dancer at the Contemporary School of Dance in Portland. Isabella, we're so proud of you, and we thank your parents, Melissa and Eric Edwards, for sharing you with us. Congratulations.
Thank you. On behalf of the entire Southampton County School Board, I do want to congratulate all of the students and all the students' parents. We appreciate the parents sharing their students with us. Here at Southampton County Public Schools, we enjoy recognizing and celebrating success and excellence in all of its myriad forms. So congratulations, students, and thank you, parents. We are now going to move into the public comment period of our meeting. Although Virginia law does not require us to hold a public comment period, we choose to do so because our board believes that it is important for us to hear from our community members. The Southampton County School Board values positive, informative public participation, and we recognize the importance of receiving public input on issues affecting the education of our children. The public comment period is a time for citizens and residents to express their views in order to inform the Southampton County School Board. Therefore, please do not expect board members to respond to comments or to answer questions during the public comment period. As I said before, we encourage public comments, but we do ask that you respectfully follow a few guidelines. One is that anybody who wishes to speak should have signed up in the lobby before the meeting started. Two, the time limit for each individual to speak is 3 minutes. This time limit has been created so that as many members of the public as possible who wish to speak may do so, while still allowing sufficient time for the board to conduct other necessary business. We do have a visible timer so that speakers would know how much time is available. Speakers may not give or yield their speaking time to other members or other people. Speakers cannot transfer their opportunity to speak to others. Speakers should address their comments to the board, not to the superintendent or other audience members. And we ask that audience members refrain from comments and demonstrations such as booing, hissing, or clapping. So I will call up the members or the speakers in the order in which they signed up. So the first speaker is J. Carey Carpenter.
Good evening. I'm here again. I want to share 2 or 3 W's with you. Who of you all wants to do what we do for the money that we get? Who of you all want to do what we do as drivers? I'm sorry, I'm a bus driver. As drivers for the retirement that we get. Oh, that's right, we don't get retirement. This is what I have been asking for quite a few years. There are some different things going on because of us not getting it so far, but those things can be worked out. Why? Why do I continue to do this? Drive. I need a job. I love driving this bus. I am needed. We are short drivers, bus drivers. It's hard to keep them. And also why I still do it is because I still pray that my continued requests to have a retirement system for us will work. Because us drivers, we are working. And you all are the ones who hold technically our retirement in your hands with Southampton County Public Schools. In fact, if in fact we were as important to you and to Southampton County Public Schools as you say that we are, what will it take for this board and this administration to make a retirement system a plan work for us and be available for us? Pleading, I've done that. Praying, I definitely do that for it. Hoping that you truly want to obtain and to retain drivers. That is a good way, I think, to obtain drivers, is to let drivers know there is a retirement plan available and to retain us. Or do we have to go to the extreme strike? What would happen to our kids now? As again, I say, I'm not perfect at it, but I love driving the bus. Would you expect to hire teachers and staff for school without offering them a retirement? No. I said I wasn't going to speak tonight, but after I saw the agenda yesterday and noticed about the transportation, about the bus week this month, I thought, well, I'll speak. I know that our immediate supervisors do appreciate us. And as I share all of this, again, I hope I still have a job tomorrow, because I never know after sharing my thoughts and my true feelings. But take care for us, and you all. Again, thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Wendy Simmons.
evening, everyone. My name is Wendy Simmons, and I am the school counselor at Capron Elementary. And in years past, I have spoken to you within this capacity about my desire to help our children grow socially, emotionally, and academically. And while this is still my passion, tonight I come to you as the wife of Mark, the daughter of Mike and Brenda, a Christian, a co-worker to many, and a friend to many. I planned this presentation for last month, but COVID had different plans for me. Last February, I had major foot surgery, and I would be out for 4 weeks. I was scheduled to return to work March 23rd, and my surgeon filled out FMLA paperwork, which stated my essential job functions could not be to stand, walk, push, pull, lift, bend, twist, climb, or any high impact activities. If I could get into the building, I would be fine. This paperwork was sent to my then principal, Dr. Francis, and to the school board office. I shared my concerns about the bathroom at Capron not being handicap compliant, and getting into the building was a feat no one should have to fight. Our ramp in the auditorium is graded too steep, and I could not get my scooter up or down. Our ramp at the south entrance empties into grass and rock, so that was not an option for me. Buildings at the cafeteria is what I used, the ramp. There I was met with 8 steps I would have to climb. Beginning on week 2, during my recovery, I began to talk with kids, teachers, parents, do conferences over the phone, and all while having days taken from me. After sharing my concerns with Dr. Francis and nothing changing, on March 9th, I reached out to Dr. Shannon regarding 1 to 3 days from working from home as a possibility due to the restroom. I explained that it was impossible for me to work with the bathroom not being ADA compliant. We have no railings or pulls in the toilet, and it is extremely low. She responded to me in a very timely manner and told me that she had no authority for me to work from home, but she could offer me a temporary transfer to another school for the remainder of the year with better access into the building. And while I appreciated it, I could not wrap my head around being at another school for the remainder of the year. I just replied that I was not interested and that I missed my kids already. On March 23rd, I mentioned the situation to Mrs. Carr, who was helping me with FMLA paperwork, to her, and she relayed this message to Mr. Melby. I then reached back out again to Dr. Francis. With a day or two, Mr. Melby came to Capron and discussed with Ms. Francis and later with me what I needed. I needed something done about the bathroom, and if the railings were not going to be installed, then I needed a seat. He left that morning for Walgreens, and I never heard back from him again. I asked Dr. Francis again why I had no accommodations. She said that she thought it was a liability, and I'm not sure if that came from Mr. Melby or someone at the school board office. Falling in the bathroom when the toilet is a liability, and I'm unsure of what quite the difference is. I stayed out of work until April the 6th.
Ms. Simmons, excuse me, your time is up.
I'll be back next month.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker is Mandy Hall.
Good evening. I come to you tonight with a few questions. I understand that mold testing has been initiated and an environmental company has been in several school buildings. My question is, why did it take so long? And if the issue had not been brought to the public's attention and the photo evidence captured, would you all have even known about the problems and the state requirements for testing and remediation? And who is responsible for ensuring the board is aware of the types of requirements in the Code of Virginia? My next questions regarding the safety of our schools. Have you requested to review the school safety audits yet? According to the Code of Virginia, you should be. And the last set of questions has to do with ESSER 3 funds. According to the published plan for this division, There were 3 key facilities projects that were supposed to be funded from the over $4 million allocated to our division. And we're really curious about these. Number 1, construction of bathroom facilities on the baseball and softball fields at SHS to prevent students from going into the main building unsupervised and to accommodate mobile challenged student and community members' needs. I sense a theme here. Repurposing and repairing structure to create a parent-family community resource center that will be used to provide information and assistance to parents and families on how they can effectively support students for distance learning, and to address learning loss among students, including low-income students, students with disabilities, English language learners, and racial and ethnic minorities. Also, to function as an intake center for all of the VPI pre-K programs, English language resources, and a professional development center for teachers and parents on sanitation and for recovery of learning loss. Number 3, a building for physical education activities for Capron Elementary School, the only school in the Southampton County without the school district without a gymnasium. Quote, research has determined that physical activity not only contributes to the overall health, but additional cognitive and emotional health. Have any of these 3 projects been initiated? I'm particularly interested in the Resource Center. What is it? Where is it? There's around $3 million left of unclaimed ESSER 3 money as of the end of last week. So what are you going to do with it? Thank you for considering these questions, and I look forward to seeing when they will be addressed. I also, since I have 28 seconds left, want to remind you of the deplorable situation that Mrs. Simmons was left with when she came back to work. I'll let her provide some of the details, but it's not acceptable, and if you continue to treat your staff and students with dismissal and disrespect, you're going to lose them all.
The next speaker is Irva Scott.
Good evening, Dr. Shannon, Dr. Goodwin, and the board. I am here tonight to offer a word of encouragement to the board and to the administrators of Southampton County, and to applaud you for such a fine job that you have been doing when it comes to fundamentally educating our children. And I'm speaking back to the year of 1970 when I was a student, or when I was a teacher at the Jerusalem District School under the tutelage of Mr. Lewis Clayton, when we had at that time emotional, mentally and disturbed children that needed attention. And what I gleaned from that board and the quality and the care of the system in Southampton County was you took into consideration the fundamentals and the needs of every student. And with that came security, it came quality of education across the board. It came with the inception, believe it or not, in 1970 of the dual education field, of which, believe it or not, I was one of the students when Southampton County and Franklin High School decided to merge with the incoming Paul D. Camp Community College to bridge the gap when there was failing or not enough leaders to go into the medical field. They brought into this intuition that we are going to do an internship to provoke high school students to learn and become interested in the healthcare field. I was one of those dual students, so that hasn't changed. So I applaud you for still recognizing the ability and the interest and the motivation and the outcome of dual education. Secondly, or thirdly, post-high school graduation. You also saw the need to incorporate GED. so that it would give students like myself, a high school dropout, an opportunity to come back and do something great. The Children's Center now operates off an initiative that I started in the tech field under Mr. Ernest Cloyd called Rural Care Mother-Daughter Stimulation for First-Time Kids. Now, that initiative is really growing. I would encourage you to focus on fundamental education. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the persons who spoke tonight. We appreciate your comments. We are now down to matters from previous meetings, and we have none. So we're down to action items. And the first action item is the partnership with Virginia Commonwealth University. So Dr. Shannon?
Yes, our school division, as well as many other school divisions across the United States, has been faced with a teacher shortage. And like good educators, we do not just identify the problem, but we also devise a solution. One of our long-term solutions to the teacher shortage is to form partnerships with neighboring colleges and universities who will assist us in instilling a love for teaching and learning in our students as early as elementary school. We have begun talks with Virginia Commonwealth University as well as Virginia State University regarding our mission of growing our own teachers. We are piloting our Grow Our Own Teachers for Tomorrow program currently at Southampton High School. Dr. Harris Muhammad has been extremely instrumental in forging these partnerships, and she is here tonight with a representative from VCU to talk about the moving forward process of this partnership and our next steps.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair, Madam Superintendent, all school board members, good evening. While Southampton County School Division is making learning magical, the division is also creating partnerships that are magical. The Virginia Department of Education has an exciting opportunity to share with school divisions and Southampton County Public Schools. Southampton County Schools has been selected to partner with Virginia Commonwealth University to fill the gap of teacher vacancies by building our own pipeline in Southampton County School Division, while preparing our students to enter in the field of education. It gives me great pleasure and honor to stand before you to introduce two exciting educational partnerships for our school division called Teachers for Tomorrow and Grow Your Own. Southampton County School Division, as well as many other rural school divisions in Virginia and across the country, have been faced with a teacher shortage. In Southampton County School Division, one of our long-term solutions to the teacher shortage is creating partnerships with neighboring colleges and universities who can assist us in filling those needs. This evening, we have the pleasure of having representatives for Virginia Commonwealth University, Dr. Kim McKnight and Dr. Kim Allen, and they brought a third colleague. I call them the dual Kims, and I will ask them to come forward and speak more on behalf of the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening and good evening. What an amazing showing for a school board meeting, so thank you. My name is Dr. Kim McKnight. I direct the Center for Teacher Leadership at Virginia Commonwealth University. And we are so excited to start Teachers for Tomorrow, where you will have high school students that will then come back to Southampton to be teachers. The second initiative is RTR, formerly known as Richmond Teacher Residency. Southampton will have the opportunity to have money where it will go and pay for a future teacher to go to graduate school. And from there, they'll work alongside a mentor teacher for a full year, from the first day of teacher work week until the last day of school, while they're getting their degree. And then in exchange, they're going to stay in Southampton for 3 additional years. Our retention data after 12 years of being in Richmond, Petersburg, Chesterfield, and Henrico is over 80% are still teaching after 5 years. And our favorite statistic is 99% of our mentor teachers say that being a mentor made them a more effective teacher. So I just want to give, again, Dr. Allen is our Administrator for Partnerships, and Miss Sabrina Evans is our Recruitment Coordinator, so she'll be here when we're trying to recruit future teachers for you all in Southampton. Thank you.
We all have swag bags from Virginia coming with them. Thank you.
And she did not mention it, but they have sent us an agreement for $50,000 to be used for some of these initiatives. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. We're so excited about this opportunity and this program. The next item on the agenda is the financial report and payment of bills. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Joy Carr, our Director of Finance, will make that presentation to the board. Ms. Carr.
Good evening, all. I would like to bring your attention to our preliminary expenditure summary for the month of September. If you'll notice, our local operating budget for the fiscal year 22-23 remains at $36,983,11. Our actual expenditures through September 30th total $5,580,748.95. This leaves us a balance of $31,399,562.05. Please note that as of the date of this report, 15.09% has been expended from the operating budget. The September bill list has been attached to the agenda for the board's approval tonight. Are there any questions?
Do you have any questions for Ms. Carr? Do we have a motion to approve the bills as presented?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Bradley, a second by Ms. Reynolds. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carr. We are now down to informational items. So the first informational item is the instructional report. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, the personnel in our Department of Curriculum and Instruction have been working all over the school division. It is not unusual to find them in a classroom, assisting or assessing, or even teaching some of our children. At the core of their function is to provide a quality teaching and learning environment, and each month, Mrs. Kelly Gillette and her team detail for the board what has occurred the previous month. So Mrs. Gillette will make a presentation tonight to our school board, and she'll talk about the fall student growth assessment, the K-3 literacy teacher professional development, the Code to the Future program, and advanced placement interest test.
Thank you, Dr. Shannon. Good evening, Dr. Goodwin, board members, and all present. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I do have the instructional report, as Dr. Shannon said. We're going to look at the Virginia Department of Education Fall Student Growth Assessments, or SGAs. This is similar to what the students did last year when they took an assessment in grades 3 through 8 in math and reading. They took the assessments in the fall and they were reassessed in the spring to see their growth. This year is a little bit different. In the fall, they're going to take a test that is half of the length will be in the spring. They'll also be tested in the middle of the year to look at the growth from fall to mid-year, and then also from mid-year to spring, so we can see growth throughout the year. And I did want to touch base on the K-3 literacy teacher professional development. We're looking at the Virginia Literacy Act that the General Assembly passed in April of 2022, and it outlines the things I'm going to discuss next. When we're looking at what we call the VLA, we know that every student will receive core literacy instruction based on scientifically based research and evidence-based literacy instruction. Also, that all families will have access to online resources to support this literacy development at home. All teachers will use evidence-based literacy curriculum. They'll have access to student learning using approved by the literacy screeners that we use from the VDOE, or we have through our Power assessment with Power School. We'll use that data to inform the instruction for the students and provide any intervention or remediation that is needed. The teachers also, they participated in the professional development before school started. We had a literacy retreat, and that professional development is continuing, as you will see. Every reading specialist will be consulting the classroom teachers and the administrators in the building, providing extra support to those teachers, looking at their plans, seeing where the teachers are, looking at the data, and they will give those students the remediation, any extra evidence-based curriculum that they need. And as a division, we're going to develop a literacy plan. Before this act is even passed, we have in place a comprehensive reading plan that we were already working on, so this goes right into what we were already doing. So as Dr. Shannon said, we've been out and about in the buildings. We've also been, as I said, providing professional development. So as we look at it, we have, like I said, the reading retreat happened on September 1st. Reading specialists have met twice to look at their responsibilities and how they're going to support the teachers and the students. And we also last week had grade level meetings at the Title I building every day from 12:30 to 3:30. First day we had kindergarten, then we had third grade the next day, followed by second, and then first grade. And they were able to meet with each other. As you know, for the middle school and high school, it's easier for them to get together and collaborate as the elementary being so far apart in the division that it's not easy for them to get to see each other very often. So they met and were able to talk to other reading specialists as well. And also Ms. Rachel Dole, she facilitated the meetings, and she is currently at the buildings this week following up on that professional development that was provided. Also, I don't have it on here, but we do have kindergarten testing happen with the VKRP, and so we've allowed the reading specialists to help each school with that to make it go quicker so that kindergarten teachers wouldn't be by themselves giving the assessments. And we're also keeping a watch on that and making sure everyone has what they need. Also wanted to touch on Code to the Future. As you know, we have a partnership with Code to the Future, like we have for several years in the past. This is grades K through 8, and it is division-wide as far as using it in the middle school and elementary in all subject areas. So we want to integrate this process into all contents. So if you are SOL tested, if you are in one of those contents, you will participate in projects in the fall and in the spring. But if you were not tested with SOL grades, you will participate in fall, spring, and end of the year. We did not have end of the year for SOL testing because we know that they will be concentrating on those tests. So the student works when they do a showcase. It will be displayed on the division website, sent out through Remind, as you can go onto the website and see these projects that the students so proudly exhibit. The Code to the Future coach, Andrew Campbell, she has come in, and her and our STEM specialist, Ms. Rachel Bowe, have visited 5 of our school buildings. She wouldn't get to the 6th one, but we had the hurricane interrupted us, but she did go the following Monday. And we went in to make sure the teachers were on board and knew what they needed to do, and the teachers had the students had the projects in place, and they knew what to do as well. So we kicked up our fall program, and we're going to be ongoing throughout the school year. Also wanted to follow up on the advanced placement interest. We do have a form that we sent out to see who would be interested in the advanced placement classes that we now have in place, which included our 2D art, the macroeconomics, computer science, and environmental science. And as you can see, we had 11 in art, 3 in macroeconomics, computer science had 7, and environmental science also had 7. This one will be open for another couple of weeks, and so anyone else that has interest for these spring courses can sign up. And that is the instructional report for October. Are there any questions this evening?
Any questions from Ms. Gillette? Thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, I was so excited about the partnership with VCU and our Teachers for Tomorrow program, and I forgot to have us vote on it. But before we can engage in the partnership, we do need board approval. So we do need a motion and a second to form a partnership with VCU to implement the Teachers for Tomorrow program. So we have a motion by Ms. Bunn, and a second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So thank you. I'm excited about that program, and I hope you are too. And as Dr. Shannon said, we're also looking to form a partnership with Virginia State University, again, working with Teachers for Tomorrow, so that we can encourage young people to choose teaching as a career and come back to Southampton County to teach. So we're now down to the status of the mold inspection. Dr. Karen.
Yes, ma'am. We have Mr. Eric McKee with McKee Environmental here with us tonight, and he is the gentleman who performed the mold testing, so he's going to give you his first-hand assessment as to what he found in our buildings.
Good evening, Dr. Shannon.
Good evening.
Shall I, did you want me to focus on any particular portion of it?
We'll just focus on catering.
Okay. So we got involved with catering, I believe it was September 29th. We were out there doing an assessment. There were some concerns over some suspect mold in a couple of the classrooms and in the guidance area. So the summary was our crew came in and did a visual inspection. We coupled the visual inspection with environmental sampling and ended up providing a report to the school system where we had some recommendations for some mold cleanup where we found some issues. The good news was that the mold that we found didn't show up in the air samples we took. The air looked actually quite clean. When we do air samples, we always follow the EPA's recommendation, which is to compare the indoor air to the outdoor air. And worst case, we'd see similar. But in this case, we had about 25 times cleaner indoor air with regard to mold in Capron today compared to the outside. That doesn't mean, of course, though, the mold doesn't need to be cleaned up. So all of the areas that we found mold were relatively small amounts. They were less than 10 square feet, which is pretty much ideal. Again, not something we want to just take lightly, but we were able to provide a report to the school system so you all could target clean with certain areas.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
What about the middle school?
The middle school.
The VOTEC and the library.
Sure. So in the middle school, there's three areas we looked at. The middle school, we focused on the library. The school system, I believe, had several other vendors there trying to identify if there was an issue based upon, I believe it was a report of a mold odor or something like a mold odor. We came in, did an assessment, the same way, just a visual assessment, and found mold in the library. And if anybody's been over there, we made recommendations to basically isolate the library so that we don't have any risk of exposure. We did the same thing. We took air samples. The air samples looked good. The school system had already taken measures to put HEPA-filtered air cleaners in the library based upon the concern, which I think helps. At the present time, there's been some sorting of books and just some sealing off of that area while decisions can be made what to do and how to do it. That's the library. The middle school and the VOTEC, I guess it's the business offices that you have there. Not really much of an issue at all. You all are going through just a really tremendous refresh process. The carpet's coming out, they're doing repainting. So we found a couple of very minor issues, but other than the minor issues, I think it's all going to be addressed in the process of the refresh.
So no student, teacher, anybody has ever been in any type of danger of breathing in any of this, or?
Well, I can only speak to when we came in and did a study. The EPA is a great resource for trying to provide balance between when we should be concerned and we should not be concerned. There's always going to be mold in the air. We're breathing all the time. It's outside in the air. That's like I said at the beginning. That's how we compare. Is the indoor air, should we be alarmed? Is there anything unique in the indoor? Are there high levels in the indoor air? And so it's really more about risk of exposure. Like when you come into a building, is there more of a risk of you getting exposure? But in from the data that we collected, there wasn't any evidence of that in any of the three schools. So that was good news.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Any other questions? Comments? Thank you. At our, call it an August meeting, the board talked about whether or not we needed to hire an outside firm to conduct an audit. The board decided that we would not hire an outside firm to do an audit, but that we would check with the Southampton County to make sure that our information is included in the audit and that that is complete. So Dr. Shannon has an update on the request made by board members to determine the extent to which the audit is performed by the Southampton County government.
Yes, ma'am. So, Mrs. Joy Carr will be coming to the front, but as she's coming, you will find attached to your board agenda a copy of the engagement letters. And the engagement letters that you have are copies that were signed by the chair of the board of supervisors as well as the county manager. And then the second engagement letter was signed by Mrs. Joy Carr and myself. Mrs. Carr is going to talk specifically about what is audited with our school division, and then if you all have any questions or concerns, just let me know.
Good evening again. I reached out to Mrs. Lynette Lowe, who is the Deputy County Administrator and CFO for Southampton County, and she shared the following information concerning the audit procedures for Southampton County schools. Her email read, "I am sending the following to hopefully help clear up misconception. You are welcome to share this email with others if needed. The financial information of the Southampton County Public School System goes through the same auditing procedures as Southampton County's financial information. I have attached a copy of the Southampton County engagement letter as signed by the County Administrator and the Chairman of the Board of Supervisors. The school board's financials are part of the overall audit report of Southampton County. Southampton County Public Schools is a component unit of Southampton County based on funding and must be audited in conjunction with the counties. The same testing performed on Southampton County's payroll, the Virginia retirement system, loan and bond payments, revenues, expenditures, accounts receivables, accounts payables, fixed assets, depreciation, bank reconciliations, federal funds, state funds, and among other items are performed in Southampton County Public Schools financial records as maintained by the school board office personnel. I have also attached a copy of the engagement letter for the school activity funds as signed by Joy Carr and Dr. Shannon. As of FY21 reporting, the school activity funds are audited in a more thorough manner based on new auditing standards that went into place effective July 1, 2020. In FY21 was actually the first year that Creedle Jones and Associates completed this audit. The school system used a different firm in prior years. Are there any questions that you would like?
Any questions about the audit procedure? Are we comfortable with the audit procedure that's currently being done? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the maintenance, operations, and transportation report. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Milk is on his way to the podium to provide that presentation to the school board. Mr. Melvin.
Good evening, Goodwin Board. Thank you. All right, quick rundown this month here. So maintenance pieces, on the 19th of September, we had an issue here at the high school. We had a fuse that went out on a compressor pump for our sprinkler system, which caused an alarm to go off. It took way going down the line to figure out where we were in the pump house, we were in the riser rooms, and then finally got to the compressor pump in the back room to find where the culprit was and got the system back running and good. Because of that, we had, when the system failed, we filled up with water, we sprung 2 leaks, one in the boys' locker room and one down hall 3. Virginia Sprinkler Company has been on site multiple times. They have put patches on the pipe and will return to replace the entire pipe section when they can access that area. Also here at the high school, 2 computers on units 6 and 7 were malfunctioning and we could not restart them. DeMuth was on site, got them back up and running. It took a couple of days for them to figure out what the problem was, but we were able to get the temperatures back in line. The lighting project. The 23rd, we had all the lights on for the home football game, and it was great. We've had a couple games there since, and it's a world of difference. If you haven't been out there when it's lit up, it's something else compared to a few years back. The far corner on the far sideline, that was always a little dark spot. Coach Parker always had a problem with that. The painting project, the high school here is complete. The middle school and the VOTEC are about 95% complete, working with the crews there to get a punch list and get that finished. Bus charging station, the Dominion subcontractor is almost done with that project at the school board office. If you come by and you see in the bus garage, they're right in the front corner. They should finish their construction in the next couple weeks, and we still anticipate the electric buses arriving at the end of this month. So it's really exciting. They should be here soon. Hopefully, get a nice quiet ride through Portland one day. The counselor's office at the middle school and the VOTEC offices and the model classrooms are getting a remodel. New furniture in the counselor's offices and new flooring in all of the offices and new paint throughout. So it's getting done and it's looking great. So it's a nice refresh for those areas that haven't seen an upgrade in a long time. Transportation or routes, we continue to work with them to get more and more efficient. And the thing is, kind of skipping down here, we're hurting the drivers. And we are getting to the point where in the mornings we're starting to see an impact where we've had to send a bus out and it's back out after it's run its route and kids are getting here late. It's not happening every week, it's not every day, but it is occurring. We're addressing it as best we can. Mr. Griffin is doing the best that he can with the staff that we have on hand, and we're continually recruiting, trying to get folks to come in. We are doing what we can, the best we can. And I will say, all of our afternoon pieces, all of our athletics, all of our extracurricular activities are getting home and they're on time. I look around when I go to our district meeting, other folks can't say that. We see it here where kids are showing up late for our sporting events here from other communities, other divisions, because they're having such a tough time getting transportation to get their kids where they need to be. But Mr. Griffin and our staff have been doing a great job with that. And that last piece on there, we are scheduled with Hedgelog to get the components put on the 5 new buses and the 3 that were transferred from last, came in at the end of last year, to have the equipment on there so all of our fleet will be on the bus track again. Any questions?
Any questions, Mr. Melvin? Thank you, Mr. Melvin.
Thank you.
The next items on the agenda are the student enrollment report and the student superintendent's report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Our current student enrollment is 2,571 students. The winners of our student attendance award is Nottoway Elementary School with 98.49%. So let's give Nottoway a hand. And the winner of our teacher attendance award is Southampton Middle School. With 97.06% of their teachers being present this past month. So congratulations to both of those schools.
Thank you. The annual convention of the Virginia School Boards Association will take place November 16 through 18, 2022 in Williamsburg. You know that the Code of Virginia requires school board members to participate in service, professional development, and we do that through the Virginia School Boards Association. If you are interested in going to this convention, please let Ms. Artis know so that she can register you for that conference. But it's November 16 through 18, and it is in Williamsburg. We know that National School Lunch Week is coming up, so Dr. Shannon, any comments about that?
Yes, ma'am. National School Lunch Week was created in 1962 to promote the importance of healthy school lunches in a child's life and the impact it has inside and outside of the classroom. This year, Southampton County Public School Division will be celebrating National School Lunch Week October the 10th through the 14th. And our school lunch staff does a phenomenal job, and we certainly want to celebrate our staff. So, thank you.
Thank you. And you want to continue with Virginia Farm to School Week?
Sure. The Virginia Farm to School program was created in 2018 to connect schools with local food producers of fresh, healthy foods in all feeding programs. This year, VOE acknowledges the importance of the program and encourages schools across Virginia from October the 3rd through the 7th to celebrate Virginia Farm to School Week.
And we know that October is National Bullying Prevention Month. So Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. October is Bullying Prevention Month, and this is an awareness campaign to help others understand the ramifications of bullying. At Southampton County Public School Division, we have a zero tolerance bullying policy. And we ask any of our students who feel threatened to reach out to a trusted adult and report the situation.
And we're at National School Bus Safety Week.
All right, I'm excited to announce that October the 18th through the 22nd is National School Bus Safety Week. And during this time, we recognize the, basically bus safety. And October the 20th is School Bus Transportation Employees Appreciation Day. And I know that Mr. Griffin is going to do something special for his transportation employees on that day. We do value our drivers, despite what you may hear, and their role cannot be underestimated. They are the first faces and the last faces of Southampton County Public Schools employees that most of our students see every day. So help us as we recognize our transportation employees. And like I said, Mr. Griffin normally does something, a cookout or something, and you all are welcome to attend if you'd like to mingle with our transportation employees.
And the Great Southeast Shakeout.
The shakeout drill is scheduled for 10:20 a.m. on October the 20th, 2022. The goal of the shakeout is to get us prepared for major earthquakes. We will use the shakeout as an opportunity to learn what to do before, during, and after an earthquake. Students in all of Southampton County Public Schools will participate in the Great Southeast Shakeout.
I'm excited about the next item on the agenda, which is the Jump Starts Read for the Record. On October the 27th, 2022, people across the country will be reading this book called Nigel and the Moon, and Southampton County Public Schools has been participating in the Jump Starts Read for the Record for a number of years, and this is the book that we'll be reading this year. Tonight, each school board member will get a copy of this book. We're asking each school board member on October the 27th to read this book to a child. But this is the book, Nigel and the Moon, and school board members will be reading this book to a child on October the 27th. So I'm excited about that. And this artist will give each member a copy of the book. Nigel and the Moon is about a young boy who dreams big, but is too scared to share his dreams with the world. Instead, every night he tells his dreams of becoming an astronaut, dancer, and a superhero to the moon. As his class moves through Career Week, Michael's community helps him build up confidence in who he is. So this book encourages children to celebrate where they come from, who they are, and who they want to be. And it's a HarperCollins book, and we're excited to have this book and to focus on this book. We're proud to be a part of helping to set a world record related to this activity. So we're all going to read this book. So now, pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the board, upon a motion and a second, will convene in a closed session to consider the following: personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, and compensation, intra-district student transfer requests, out-of-district student requests, and student discipline matters. After the closed session, the board will return to this area to take any necessary action on the matters discussed in closed session. Do we have a motion to convene in closed session? We have a motion by Ms. Lane, a second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. So we will convene in the teachers' lounge and have our closed session.